Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for clicking on it. My name is Allie with A. Marie Speaks, and as titled, this video is all about what is pop tarot and how to avoid it. So if you clicked on it, I'm sure that you are already interested in tarot or oracle cards, perhaps divination in some kind of way, and perhaps you've been looking around on YouTube and you see a lot of superficial options, I will say, without trying to offend anyone and without trying to put blame or act like I am higher than anyone. That's not my intention, or my standing when I'm presenting this video and when I'm talking about the topic, but it's so prevalent, especially on YouTube, that there's this hijacking happening with the tool of divination, and it is and has been promoted even in sort of the thin ice layer of the crust. And so many people are kind of like skating across it, showcasing this kind of like glittery version of it that's very materialistic, very superficial, and really about the show, of it, being seen, being witnessed while you're doing it, being influential over others through the cards. And to me, that has a lot of falsity and a lot of negativity clouding around it in the whole presentation. So I want to create this video here to sort of talk about the issues about what is pop tarot and why it's encouraged, right? Why the ice skating across the thin layering is encouraged, and nobody actually wants you to dive deep or to fall through and go swimming for yourself under there, and to really tap into the infinite intelligence that is available to us through divination. So first and foremost, I will say, from my opinion, from my perspective, I like to use the word divination because it sort of lumps together tarot and oracle cards, angel cards, all of those different, even regular playing cards. Plenty of people read with the regular suit deck. Divination, kind of allows an umbrella for all of those things. I enjoy to utilize them all, and I know plenty of people do too. So just as like a catch-all phrase, I'm just going to say divination. The version of pop tarot that I want to sort of put on display here and critique a little bit is that really spiritually disconnected version of tarot that is promoted in the mainstream. There's a serious lack of spiritual connection, or of spirituality in general, I guess, in our world today, and especially if you go onto things like social media or mainstream media, televisions, or like anything that's promoted out by the mainstream is really disconnected from spirituality. And of course that's done for reasons, and if you're interested in those reasons, I talk all about them in the Negative Agenda series on BitChute, so you can find that over there, about their agendas and the control mechanisms and all that kind of stuff. But for the topic here with divination, it's important for us to know that there is a level of manipulation and distortion that happens, and that is showcased to us, especially in the mainstream. And so we see a lot of these versions of fortune teller kind of people who have this cloud of um, superiority or self-importance around them, I feel, and that they use the cards in the deck and their reading capability sort of as a pedestal to stand up over others and to dictate to. And that in general, I feel, is negatively aligned. I think that seeks to control and restrict others. It's infringing, and therefore it's negatively aligned, satanic, Luciferian, whatever you want to look at that kind of evil control mechanisms and working as. I just like to call it negatively aligned, negative system, you know. There's no two ways about it. But yes, it is what people would call Luciferian or satanic. That's anything that serves the self over others, self-importance. And I notice and feel a lot of that when I get on and see other people doing readings online. And in person, you know, I've gone to plenty of fairs and plenty of places and gotten readings with real people, and it's very easy for me to feel when someone is coming from a self-righteous, egotistical place when they're doing readings, or when they're talking to the cards, or when they're speaking about what the meanings mean on the cards. It's so important to remember that personal distortions are placed on everything, and so yes, divination is personal, and yes, cards speak to the reader, and they speak in unique ways, and we should allow them to, and we should be looking for diverse ways to interpret them and read them, you know, but we shouldn't be placing our own desires and entangling intentions in the cards as we're reading them. And I get a feel of that a lot. Now, what can that really mean? What does that look like, right? And why do I call it pop tarot? I feel like pop tarot is a good word because it really has that pop culture kind of frivolous, glittery, sparkly makeup kind of falseness to it. So many of us can be familiar with that with pop music, that kind of like false face that gets put up with the pop stars, and that dire need of attention, you know, that real calling to be seen and to have the spotlight on you, you know, that diva mentality kind of thing. That is the place and space that I am going to encompass and call pop tarot. Now, it can display itself and showcase itself in lots of different ways, and I've seen these. I'm going to just name off some kind of ways that I've seen, especially on YouTube, that really ring true, and right away we should know that this is superficial readings, that this is infringement on the cards, and on infinite intelligence, and on source. So pop tarot to me includes any kind of quick reading where it's done live and people are just asking questions, and the person is just sitting there and shuffling and putting one down and answering, and putting it in the comments and moving on. That doesn't respect the question. It doesn't respect the person and the individual who's asking it. It gives no time for their personal makeup and for their walk up to the reading. And it doesn't respect the reader, you know, because that's exhaustive work for you to go through. And then you're entangling and sort of wrangling and reining out the cards like you're a horse driver, you know, like bam bam, like go, you know, it's not natural. And to me, it screams pop tarot. And I don't want to be involved in that. Another version of pop tarot to me is the astrological readings. The card for Capricorn, the card for Pisces. Let's do a card for all the Aries, you know? And they just, to me, it's superficial because, again, it doesn't respect the askers, it doesn't respect the cards or yourself, because there's no distinct personal intention happening when you're going to do the cards, when you're going to speak with the cards. There is too much possibility to be actually seeking to find answers, you know? And it's it doesn't take into account, you know, the individuality that is supposed to be happening when you sit down to do something personal like divination. Another little tag for me and trigger is that the astrology signs have been super hijacked and are one of the more puppeted sort of, you know, marionette characters of the negative agenda. And so I just feel whenever they're involved, we have to be very mindful of whether they're resonating with the truth or not, and whether they're offering big picture view or not. If we are narrowed down into one sign, like your sun sign, and you think like your whole life revolves around your sun sign, and you do everything because you know, your Western astrology says you're a Taurus because you're born in the beginning of May, and so you think you categorize your whole life around that. You're pigeonholing yourself, and you're denying the fullness of your being, because even in astrology, every sign matters. All your planets matter, and they're all in a certain setup when you're born, and they all have an influence on you. And so to segment it out and to say, oh, I identify with Taurus because I like that one, and it's my sun sign, that's very superficial, and it's self-harming, actually, in my opinion. And so then when we take that whole identity kind of idea of astrology and the really frivolous sort of sticker version, like I'm a Taurus, I'm a Gemini, and we take that energy and intentions, and then we go to place it on readings, and we ask the cards to give us, you know, however many cards, 1 card, 3 cards. I've seen people do, you know, all types of different readings based on astrology signs. We're imprinting that reading with this frivolous, superficial concepts of identifying with a single sign. And also I will say, ouch, that underlying to me, it seems like a marketing scheme or like a clickbait kind of thing, because you're using these kind of flashy terms that you know are like tagged a lot, and you know a lot of people seek out and go towards. Then you're using that as like a way to get more views, a way to be seen, a way to, you know, gain influence or gain followers, subscriptions, or whatever. And that's Pop Tarot. That is, it's not spiritually connected. You're disconnecting, and you're using it for negative reasons, for self-empowerment. So I don't like to do that, and I like to stay away from that. Another thing that I see a lot on YouTube is the 3 cards, or 4 cards, or 5 cards, and pick your card, and maybe they put like a crystal on it, or they put like a little little trinket, you know, or a color, and they say pick your card, and this reading's for you. Now, this one's a double-edged sword to me, because from personal experience and speaking with full transparency, maybe 2017-18, in a blog setting, I used to do Tarot Tuesday, 5 cards, in a way, you know, put out 5 cards and do the reading for the general public, and then talk about each meaning of the card, and did you choose this one and what it could mean for you. And that when I envisioned that and I came up with that back then, I wasn't doing it because everybody was doing it. I wasn't doing it to gain views or followers. I was promoting it on a blog platform that I used to use called Steemit that I don't use anymore, but it's kind of cool. Check it out if you're into cryptocurrency and blogging. Steemit's kind of cool. But I had a huge friendship and community with lots of other people who loved tarot and to talk about tarot. And so I felt I was doing a great service to the community by offering out these 5 cards. And every time I did it every week, I had like an hour or 2 section out of my day that was in my schedule that I would put into this, and I would sit down and I would center myself beforehand. I would respect the cards. I would have, real intention of the people that I was calling towards offering service to and laying the cards out, and I would do a whole write-up on them and really take my time, and then publish it, and then go and speak with people, and then sometimes I do a video on it too. This is when I first got into doing videos, because I talked through the cards. And this is why I'm saying it's a tightrope, double-edged sword kind of thing to walk when we offer these types of readings, because the intention that the reader puts into that reading and then offers it out really paves the way for whether it's negatively or positively aligned, right? And that all has to do with why the reader's putting out the videos, why the reader's offering the cards. Are you doing it? And now we'll flash forward to today because it's 2023, And when I came up with that kind of thing and was sharing Tarot Tuesday over there, this is 2017, 18, quite a few years ago, and it wasn't anywhere on YouTube. It was very hard to find any kind of more personal readings on YouTube. And I thought, wow, it's kind of a little niche, and let's try this out. And I did it for maybe a year, a little over a year, I forget. However, my intentions, like I said, my intentions were not, clickbait kind of intentions. It was more of a service base for the community and people that I knew personally, sort of, because I have conversations on the platform, comment on their blogs, talk on Discord, have personal relationships with people, and even in the comment section on the videos and on the blog and everything, It wasn't just strangers doing it to just get more views or to get people to come pay me for readings or go to a site and find my readings or feel like I'm an intuitive person or whatever. Now flash forward to today in 2023, I see everywhere these pick a card readings, these which crystal aligns, which little trinket, which color are you, choose it, and which card would you like, and then, and then they have a little timestamp and everything right there for you, so you could just flash forward to your reading only and hear that one, The concept and the setup, the template of that has working possibilities, and it does have potentials to it. But when you're unfamiliar with whoever the reader is on YouTube and you're just scrolling and finding these things, know that you're negatively seeking out some kind of validation or confirmation of some kind of preconceived idea. You're looking for an answer. You're not seeking truth. There's a big difference between looking for external validation to something you already think and openly seeking truth. And it's my personal opinion with spiritual divination that we go into every reading seeking truth, and that I offer every reading offering out truth. And that happens at a personal level only. That can't be mass produced. It's not going to generate 1,000 likes. It's not going to be retweeted and make you go viral or whatever the case might be. That could be their intention. So when we're clicking on these kind of videos and you want a card, and it's just some random reader on YouTube, maybe they have 1 million followers, and you think they're great because they have 1 million followers, but really every time that they're reading cards, every interaction they have, they're sending out these anchors and entanglements of negativity that you're consenting to and wrapping yourself up in because you're taking on their advice and energy. So being mindful of that is super important. Pop Tarot doesn't take that in mind. Pop Tarot is about the views. It's about, um, you know, getting that little oomph of your ego that somebody thinks you can read cards, or that somebody wants to listen to you, or that they liked your reading, or whatever. Or they're going to pay you money. You know, a lot of it is money, money, money. Oh, well, if they like my readings here, my free ones on this video, they're going to come to me and pay for me for readings. I'm going to have clients that are going to come back every time they have a question. And look at that and understand that a lot of people who seek out positions of influence are doing that because they have huge holes in their spiritual body, in their internal well, right? They're seeking to fill. They're not seeking to serve. And I've seen just an explosion of these kind of readings, and it's, you know, sense up all these little distortion red flags in my sensors, like, oh, why are people clicking on these, and why are these so popular? And but it goes to show, you know, people are awakening, and they do want to get these kind of spiritual connections. They do want to seek answers, but it's the intention of what we're seeking, really, right? Are you seeking answers you think you already know for confirmation of rightness, or are you seeking open truth to confirm what is? You know, and those are personal questions you have to ask yourself. And if you're super interested in tarot, and, you know, you're seeking that kind of way, then just know your intention and your alignment is positively aligned. Somebody will come forward through that is real to you, that has a connection with you, and that you'll be able to get clarity and answers from. Or maybe if you can't find anybody and you are really interested in it, it's Source's little nudge to you to be a reader, to get a deck of your own and do your own work with it, and get away from the Pop Tarot media mainstream version of these readers who, you know, no offense, but you can tell they probably spent, you know, 2 hours getting hair and makeup done to sit down and do the video, versus 2 hours of spiritual connection and meditation, and then sitting down to do the cards. You know, so depending on what you're seeking and who you are, you know, there's a variety of reasons that that we get involved in tarot. Another version of tarot that I see out there that's really poppy is when we have people who are really going through questions quickly, and bam, 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 and not allowing time to the answers to soak in, not having respect for the message that the cards bring through. And this can be, I've seen a lot where, you know, they're video calls with a couple of people on them, 5 or 4 or 6 people or whatever, who are all, you know, asking questions about present day things. You know what I mean? Is this person going to be president? Is this person going to come out on the news as a liar? Or is this shift going to happen this way? Or are these group of white hats doing X, Y, and Z? Or they try to pull in sort of vocabulary from the current events and put them into tarot and ask the deck about actual circumstances and what's going to happen. And they ask them really quickly too, and they kind of just like shuffle around them. And you can tell when they're asking questions, they're looking for their answers. They're looking for wherever they are on the political spectrum, or wherever they are on the idea or the concept. They are looking to interpret the cards in an angle that will display their belief, and answer the question in the way they want to be answered in. And you can almost see them when and I've noticed this numerous times, you know, cards that have a really diverse meaning, or have actually like a really strong meaning in a certain angle, and they kind of hone in and pigeonhole it into this one certain meaning or description, and and they run with it, and they go with it, and they, and you can tell that they are angling it to promote their belief. Um, and and I feel that's totally Pop Tarot. Another thing I feel is totally Pop Tarot is really asking the cards about current events, about things that are happening in the external world that has nothing to do with you. If you're new to my videos and you've never heard me speak about energetic exchanges in our reality bubbles, sacred borders, we have 3 different worlds that are offered to us. We have our internal world, which is all of our inner inscape, anything that happens within you that you'd have to tell another about in order for them to experience. That's your inner world. We have our direct world, and your direct world is anything that you could ever actually be involved in, any place you've ever gone to, any person or stranger or relative that you've ever had a conversation with face to face or on the phone in live real time. That becomes part of your direct world. You have direct experience with it. We have a whole other reality bubble offered to us here on this plane in space because we're part of a collective consciousness, humanity. And that's the external world. And that reality bubble is presented to us. And we never actually interact with it directly. And we never can. And having the conscious capability to know that and to see where the borders are and where you're consenting to interactions, what you're drawing towards you, is a huge part of the work. And it comes into tarot because for me, anything pop tarot is going to be out in that external world. You're going to be asking opinions on celebrities or things you saw in the news or things happening across the world that you could never even prove if it was true or not. Political things, all of these kind of media, Hollywood kind of things that really actually have nothing to do with our own journey here in our own inner or direct world. It's distractions. It's an illusion. I like to call it the collective reflective because it's orchestrated and totally controlled by the overlay of the matrix and the archons, right? The negative agenda. They showcase out on stage their whole play of what they want us to see and what they want us to build. And so if you are using tarot cards to get answers about that kind of thing out in the external world, I feel that's super poppy, and I don't want to be involved in it. I like to avoid those kinds of questions in general. Now, am I missing anything here? I guess I would say that Pop Tarot is really like every other kind of pop version of things, right? It says right in its name, it's popular culture. It's made to make money. It's made to be marketing. It's made to be shown and showcased out to buyers and consumers as entertainment. Usually, and yeah, it's got a level of mind control. It's really what it's all about. It's like getting those programs into people. But it's labeled as entertainment. And to me, it's very disrespectful to utilize divination for entertainment. I think that is basically like blasphemy, I guess, to a religious person. It's ego-centered, and it's not heart-centered. And so that's why I feel like it's crucial that we avoid it. There's a whole deeper level of working when you can get into spiritual divination and really allow cards to speak to you and communicate with them and with the reader if you're not doing them yourself, Oh, and finally here at the end, that's what I'm reminded of. Just for Pop Tarot, it doesn't always have to be you watching other people's readings, going onto social media or whatever, or to a reader. It doesn't have to be another person. you can be involved in pop tarot right on your own, just being the reader, right? And just doing cards for yourself. And what does that really look like to me, right? Um, it's the same thing that I already talked about. What's the intention that you're going into asking questions for? Are you asking questions to get answers that you are comfortable with, that you want for yourself? And if you are, probably introspection, meditation, self-assessment, getting into meditative connection with imagination space and your own processing, your own higher self, is going to provide way more working points, way more influential advice, and opportunities to uncover and work through the real roots of the issues of why you're doing that or what the problem is. If you just go and sit down and meditate, you don't need cards for that. And in fact, like, cards know that, and they don't like to be consulted for no reason. It's disrespectful. And I feel very strongly about that. And I don't appreciate it when people don't respect their decks, when people don't respect divination or spirit or source or that infinite connection that we have available to us. You know, anytime that we go into readings and we carelessly throw that away and we just get, I have to have an answer, or I have to know what they say about this, oh, what's he going to say about this? That to me is pop tarot. It's frivolous, it's superficial, you know, it's all about appearances and reconfirming things that you think you already know, you know, it's an ego building, it's getting up on a pedestal to be seen, and that's negatively oriented, you know. Service to others includes yourself, you know, the great other and source and you and me are all included in that other, that service to others, you know, extending outwards, offering freely unconditional love and appreciation. And we go into any reading with that intention, then you know it's not pop tarot. You know you're connected. You know it's spiritually driven. It has like guts to it, you know. And finally, what I will say, kind of just as a little tidbit to people who are actually readers, and who might be concerned about pop tarot. Maybe you don't want to get into it. Maybe you notice that you're slipping into it, or you have cycles where you come in and out of it, or you're super infested with shadow, and you just happen to do, you know, tarot along with it, and you're wondering why, you know, you get negative readings all the time, or you're wondering why nobody wants to come to you for readings, or whatever. Working through your own intentions and your own time before you sit down with the cards will clear the air. It'll clear your body, it will clear your mental space, and it will tell the cards too that, look, I appreciate myself, I appreciate and I hold sacred this space and your wisdom that you're bringing forth here, because look at how much work I've done beforehand. I'm taking into consideration, you know, the setup, myself, the big picture before I come to sit down with you. And they will know that, and they will appreciate it, and they will speak more clearly to you. If you do that work, if you come from that place, you'll see a big difference. So that's what I guess I'm going to say about pop tarot today. I will be doing some more sort of educational, informative videos around spiritual divination and around how I read cards, around my personal decks and how I interact with them and stuff. I've been totally sidetracked on my Comprehending Consciousness series and all my negative agendas as well. But I do intend to get back to more spiritual divination videos, so if you are a subscriber and you enjoy my channels and you've been wondering if I'm going to put out more, I am going to continue to. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you'll check back at my channel for more to come. I have a whole playlist called Spiritual Divination, so you can find any of the videos that I have over there. In the meantime, you can always find me on Telegram, A. Marie Speaks, or Spotify. I have a podcast over there where I talk about different topics but and different content, but it's all along introspection, spirituality, and happiness. So you can find me on Spotify, A. Marie Speaks, yeah, or on YouTube or VidTube. So I hope that you enjoy this video. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them as a reply. I'd love to hear them, your versions, or if you resonate with this, if you feel like pop tarot is a real problem or not. If you've gotten caught up in it before, you know, I'd love to hear your personal experiences. And I will share down below a couple of channels that I actually resonate with and that I do appreciate their readings for. So if anybody's interested in to see the type of people that I enjoy listening to, then you can find those in the comment section. So I hope you have a beautiful day or evening wherever in the world you are. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you'll tune in next time.